Palace nil, Manchester United 2, joined by John here. John, another defeat by Palace, but I thought the effort was there today. We've been talking about the effort and the desire not being there in the last couple of games. I thought that was there today, but ultimately, you just have to look at some of the refereeing decisions and you have to question what on earth is going on.
Yeah, I agree. It's really disappointing because definitely the effort was there. And also the performance, not just the effort, but we played some good football, we made some good chances. And then to be like real slaps in the face, like how the same sort of referee and the same sort of decision makers are making the offside decision and the penalty, it feels like, come on, give us a break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what did you think of the penalty decision? Of course, we're going to be biased because we're Palace fans. It's just natural. But I don't understand their comment that well, I don't know if he was watching it on BT, but they made a comment saying it wasn't clear and obvious. But then the offside later on, which we'll talk about, was clear and obvious. He definitely had contact with Wilf from behind. And we talked about this in the past so many times. Wilf is running at full speed. You have to remember that. So any contact is going to bring him down. And he had more contact on Wilf than the actual ball. So I don't understand how they didn't even really check it. I don't know if they did, but it seemed like the play was going on. And also, how is that not clear and obvious, but the Sacco handball against Villarreal?
Yeah, I agree. Good comparison. And the fact is, if that had happened outside the box, free kick, no question. And they're just suddenly, because it's in the box and the referee's made a particular decision, they feel they can't overrule him. I feel, I'm not sure it's the rule exactly or the interpretation of the rule, but the way VAR, I don't know if anyone thinks that VAR is like being implemented well in the Premier League this season. And given that there's so many changes for next season, they've got to have a look at that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we conceded a poor goal at right before halftime, typical Palace there. But as a whole, I thought we played pretty well in the first half. I don't know what you made out of it. Wilfried Zaha, of course, started up front, which was different to his usual going out wide. And I felt like that helped this game because he wasn't as defensive-minded as he's been in previous games. And he can actually be creative going forward. And the goal, it was just poor. I don't know how to word it. It was just poor to concede because there was numerous times that we could have stopped that, but just so many things happened against Palace, and I think it was our fault, really.
Yeah, it was a terrible time to concede. We played really. I agree. We played really well, really worked hard, but also played positively, created chances, like had the ball in and around their box plenty. On Wilf, I found it interesting him playing up front. I think that he definitely had loads more freedom, and that's what I feel he needs. I personally feel like he should just be given license. Really, like I probably still I would prefer him to be starting wide and drifting in, but just he needs to have that freedom to create, to get on the ball, just like cause panic in defenders. And you saw that towards the end of the game. I'm sure we'll talk about it, where like the defenders just lost him, and he was unlucky not to score.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's how Wilfried Zaha should work. You have to allow him to be himself and have that creative force going forward. But before we talk about his brilliant drive by Maguire, let's talk about the offside goal. We mentioned it before. What did you make of it? I personally don't think that was clear and obvious. He was looking at his toes, and I don't understand it. If you're looking at someone's toe being offside, then it's never going to be clear and obvious. But such unfortunate because it was a nice assist by Zaha, a nice goal by Palace, and you know what? The game could have changed. The game could have changed. It could have been a game changer because before that goal we were playing well, and then you just allow that goal, and it's double whammy.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but goals definitely change games. And as to the clear and obvious thing, I feel that it's kind of what I mean by trying to make a parallel between the sort of foul and the offside. They're getting to like the level of scientific sort of drawing rulers all over the pitch for the offsides, and if there's a little bit in the red zone or whatever over the line, that's not the sort of spirit of the game. And if you're not doing it for fouls or the other things, then it just feels wrong. Like I feel like no linesman ever is going to call that offside by the sort of little dipper of his toe or whatever. So that shouldn't be what VAR is for. That's sort of, and it's also going against the spirit of like going with attacking football and giving attackers the benefit of doubt, which is what the offside rule was sort of moving towards before VAR. So terrible decision, terrible implementation of VAR, and like terrible outcome for Palace.
Yeah. So looking forward to next game against Wolves. Lots of, I mean, not lots, but there were positives in that game for Palace. Way more positives than what we saw against Villa. How are you feeling for the Wolves game?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of me that would have liked the season over like about 2 months ago. I'm not going to lie, given and the sort of
Yeah, yeah.
after the Bournemouth game, or maybe the Chelsea game. You know, every time there's a little bit of an up, um, and there's a real sense that we could lose the next two, and just like what a terrible end of the season when you look at it on paper. But having said that, and I'm really sad about. I hope Van Aanholt is not serious, his injury. I actually thought he was one. He played well. He was playing well. Okay, he was in and around the goal, the first goal they scored, but I didn't think he was particularly at fault. But anyway, yeah, I hope the injury's not serious. But it did mean that Mitchell came on, and that's what I think all, or at least most Palace fans have wanted, just some of the younger players giving a chance in these. I'm not going to call them dead games because obviously it's important for our financial position and pride and all the rest of it. But these games where wasn't quite so much at stake, where we could have been playing a few more of the younger players and giving them that sort of experience. So I thought he played really well when he came on. Obviously, he didn't have that long on the pitch. But if we can and have a few more of the sort of fringe players, then that's a positive thing to look forward to. And I'm also optimistic because, yeah, the performance was good to a large degree. It's, for quite a number of players, the best I've seen them play since lockdown. So in terms of on an individual level. So I'm cautiously positive, I'd say.
Yeah, there's only 2 games left. It will be over soon. I don't think you're the only one that wants it over and done with this season, because after the Bournemouth game, it's just been a mess. But lastly, who was your Palace man of the match if you had to pick one player?
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of an easy pick this week. Like Zaha was, by far and away the best player on the pitch for us by quite a long way. He should have had an assist, almost had a goal towards the end. Quite often when he got on the ball, he was the one they were obviously scared of. I'm sure there was some kind of tactic of trying to rile him up as well. You saw that quite a number of times, and there's a reason behind that because he's the one they would have been afraid of.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, John. And as always, leave down your comments down below. Let us know what you think. And until next time, up the Palace.